one would have to find the interpreter and make sure that the interpreter is part of the project. That I don't really believe that it's possible to do the level of work that we did, the level of quality of information that we did, if you were not part of the project, because you became part of the project. And that's basically the main challenge, and of course, I mean, the management of the workload, which we all have, but with the certain conditions that we have.
Can I just comment on the my own identity and how it interplayed with all the interpretation? I mean, there's two things here. One of them is trust, because as a Syrian, although people will identify themselves with you being from the same country, again, it's very critical, because you could have any views and you could be from the other side. People were because some of them already knew me maybe before, I had to, even the people I met for the first time, I had to explain that I'm from this part of the country, I hold these views about the situation. So I had to kind of comfort the people and get their trust so that they feel open to speak. The other thing is that being a Syrian was not maybe a very fortunate thing, because I had to relive the trauma and the experience of the war, because I lived in Syria when the war started. And I, for instance, remember when some of the people were talking about, for instance, when the police would break or brainstorm into their house, how they have been, living under all this fear and anxiety. So all this was, again, replaying for me. And I remember, at the end of the day, it was, my day will end, by the end of the interview, because I put so much energy and, emotion into it. I think what was tough that maybe we did 2 interviews in one day, and I thought that was a lot, because you need to process, it's kind of you need some counseling yourself, because all these narratives will stay, we keep, coming back, and, because I have done some field work already with refugees, so I kind of try to, think of how I treated, or what strategies I used from before. And I think the positive side of the experience, having these people, although they were telling us horrible things, the situation itself was positive, because we were people coming to visit them, we were coming to listen to their story. These people wanted to say things, they wanted people to hear them, and because they have been here for a short time, they haven't got any maybe communication with people around them. The only person they see is their caseworker. So I think this side was very rewarding for them, and that's why I was keen to make sure Emanuelle accepts their offers, because there's hardly anyone coming to visit them.
And there's only one last thing, is that because I felt very much of an outsider a lot, and that's interesting, because that's just difficult, because you start feeling a bit guilty. I started feeling a bit guilty, right? I'm here to do this research. People would cry, they're reliving their experience. They're having a nice, beautiful summer day, and you come there and you make, ask them a question that basically drives them back through hell. And then I would put Reem through hell twice. So, because of course she wouldn't cry or anything, but sometimes she was speaking something and she would stop and say, "Can I drink a little bit of water?" and you know what's going on, and it's a bit difficult to manage that. So I would you pray that mantra. People are telling their stories. We're recording it. It's going to be there. It's going to be good. But it is a very difficult situation to be there, sitting down there with all your privilege, all your university degrees, your beautiful visa, your life without any conflict, and asking these people to relive their memories. It is very confrontational. But at the end of the day, we got lovely bottom line. So these are the pictures that we took. We couldn't take the pictures much of their faces, but we took pictures of what they gave us. All homemade food and spring onions. And it was a rewarding experience. I really feel that these interviews can help making a difference. I was speaking to Paolo, and I'll keep speaking to Paolo to see how we can try to make at least portions of those interviews available. They are transcribed already in an anonymized way, so no names are there from the transcription. There is no key for names of people, and when content was anyway kind of sensitive, it was anonymized in all possible ways. But I really believe that that there is a lot there to teach anyone that would have access to them, and it was a very rewarding experience for me. I mean, that was it.
I think one of the things that really struck me listening to these stories is that seeing these people alive in front of me telling the story after what they have been through, sometimes I just look at the person and wonder oh, he just made it.
Smiling?
Yeah, and
with sense of humor? Many times?
Like that guy who jumped from the balcony to another, building, and he ended up falling down. Three stories, and he's got some bar getting in his leg. And he was telling the story kind of, with very, detail, so that we are there, we lived it. But it was very hard, and I kind of admired how these people, still continue their life, and they still think that, there's a future for them.
Full of plans, full of life.
They want to build their future.
And that's it. So, questions?
Yes, did you have someone refuse an interview?
No, actually what happened is, since we spoke to the caseworker